It's 6:30 a.m. on June 6, 1944. The fate of the world hangs in the balance as Allied forces prepare to launch the largest amphibious invasion in history, which could decide the outcome of a war in one day. Among the thousands of brave soldiers aboard the landing crafts is this one man, a soldier who will play his part in the liberation of Europe. But all he can think about is the thought of what could happen to his family back home if they don't succeed today. He's seen the news broadcasts, he's heard the descriptions of what German people are like through the radio back home, but yet he's never met one in real life. And all he can think is this is it. This is the moment we've trained for. The success of this operation rests on our shoulders right now. Rewind back 12 hours to the night before. A team of commanders worked tirelessly around the table to ensure every last detail is given down to the last second to make sure that the next morning goes as efficiently as possible. Each order and big decision has got to go past and be okayed from one man and one man only, standing at the end of the operation table. And that man is Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Supreme Commander of the Allies during Operation Overlord. And as they approached the beach, over the noise of crashing waves and the low dull sound of the landing craft engine, you can hear the horror of what is unfolding just behind that landing craft front drawbridge, just meters ahead of where they are. Behind that big steel metal drawbridge is the beach, which is a hellish inferno with bullets whizzing past and explosions tearing through the air. Men screaming in agony and shouts from commanders to lower the bridge. But amidst this chaos, courage prevails as the men from his company surge forward and on through the water towards the beach. And so, against all odds, the Allied forces achieved a historic victory on the shores of Normandy that day. The bravery and sacrifice of those who fought on D-Day will forever be remembered as a testament to the human spirit in the pursuit of freedom. And as the sun sets on this fateful day, the world will never forget the heroism of those who stormed the beaches of Normandy, nor the leadership of General Dwight D. Eisenhower, who guided them on to victory. And so, back in the heartland of America, a young boy with dreams as vast as the prairie sky was born. This is the story of Dwight D. Eisenhower, a man who would go on to lead the Allies to victory in World War II and also become the 34th President of the United States. Born on October 14, 1890 in Denison, Texas, Dwight David Eisenhower was the third of 7 sons. His parents, David and Ida Eisenhower, instilled in him the values of hard work, honesty and integrity. Life on the Eisenhower family farm was tough, but it was rewarding. From a young age, Dwight learned the value of perseverance and the satisfaction of a job well done. Despite the hard demands of farm life, Dwight's parents placed a strong emphasis on education. They encouraged him to pursue his studies, nurturing his intellect and curiosity. Dwight was not just a scholar, he was also an athlete. He excelled in sports like football and baseball, displaying the competitive spirit that would serve him well in the years to come. But in 1911, Dwight's perseverance paid off when he received an appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point. It was the beginning of a journey that would take him to the highest echelons of power. And in 1915, Eisenhower graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point, eager to serve his country. His intelligence and leadership skills quickly caught the attention of his superiors, and he was soon assigned to the 41st Infantry Division. And as a young officer, Eisenhower experienced the horrors of trench warfare firsthand. He witnessed the devastation wrought by modern weapons and the toll it took on the men under his command. And throughout the war, Eisenhower distinguished himself with acts of courage and bravery. He led his men through some of the most intense battles of the conflict, earning the respect and admiration of his fellow soldiers. And when the guns finally fell silent on November 11, 1918, Eisenhower felt a mix of relief and sorrow. The war had taken a heavy toll on him and his comrades, but it had also forged bonds that would last a lifetime. Although World War I would soon fade into memory, its impact on Eisenhower would shape his future in profound ways. The lessons that he learned on the battlefield would prepare him for the challenges that lay ahead, as he rose through the ranks to become one of the greatest military leaders of the 20th century. Throughout his early career, Eisenhower distinguished himself as a capable and strategic military leader, earning the respects of his peers and superiors alike. But it was during World War II that Eisenhower would truly leave his mark on history. Because as Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces in Europe, Eisenhower oversaw the planning and execution of Operation Overlord, aka D-Day. the largest amphibious invasion in the history of the world. And on June 6, 1944, under Eisenhower's command, thousands of Allied troops stormed the beaches of Normandy, marking the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany. Eisenhower's leadership and diplomatic skills were instrumental in keeping the Allied coalition united and focused on victory. And on May 7, 1945, Eisenhower stood as the victor, accepting the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany, bringing an end to the war in Europe. And as the dust settled on the battlefields of World War II, a new era dawned in Europe. One marked by the challenges of reconstruction and the spectre of Cold War. Eisenhower returned home to a hero's welcome, but his journey was far from over. And in 1952, Eisenhower entered the political arena, running for President of the United States. Riding a wave of popularity and trust earned during the war, he secured a landslide victory, promising a new direction for the nation.
You like Ike, I like Ike, everybody likes Ike for president. Hang out the banner, beat the drum, we'll take Ike to Washington. We don't want John or Dean or Harry, let's do that big job right. Let's get in step with the guy that's hep, get in step with Bob.
And on January 20th, 1953, Dwight D. Eisenhower was inaugurated as the 34th President of the United States, marking the beginning of a new chapter in American politics. And so, as president, Eisenhower brought to the White House a wealth of experience gathered from his distinguished military career. His calm demeanor and strategic mindset were well suited to the challenges of the Cold War. Eisenhower championed bold initiatives to strengthen the nation's infrastructure and economy, and his vision gave rise to the interstate highway system, connecting the country like never before and fueling economic growth for decades to come, as well as expanding social security to provide greater support for the elderly and disabled. But it was on the world stage where Eisenhower faced his greatest challenges. With the Cold War looming large, he navigated the complexities of international relations with steely resolve and commitment to peace. Throughout his presidency, Eisenhower demonstrated strong leadership in times of crisis, whether it was navigating the aftermath of the Korean War or confronting the challenge of Soviet expansionism. One of Eisenhower's key initiatives was his Atoms for Peace program, which aimed to promote the peaceful use of nuclear energy and ease Cold War tensions. His leadership laid the groundwork for alliances that would shape the course of history, including the formation of NATO and strategic arms agreements with the Soviet Union. Eisenhower's skillful diplomacy and commitment to international cooperation earned him the respect on the world stage. His ability to build alliances and foster dialogue helped to maintain peace during a tumultuous time in global affairs. But as his presidency drew to a close in 1961, Dwight D. Eisenhower left behind a legacy of leadership, integrity, and progress. And yet, amidst the triumphs and challenges of his presidency, Eisenhower remained steadfast in his dedication to the principles of democracy and the rule of law. And on March 28, 1969, the world mourned the loss of a great leader. Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and the hero of World War II, passed away at the age of 78.
I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds.
We choose to go to the moon, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.